Most people think lemon water is healthy. And yes, it can be. But what if the way you are drinking it is quietly working against you? What if the very habit you have built your mornings around is the reason your body refuses to let go of that stubborn fat? I know that sounds hard to believe. But stay with me because by the end of this, you will understand your body in a way most people never do. Here is something that stops people cold when I tell them. That bloating you feel after meals, it is not random. That layer of fat sitting around your waist that does not move no matter what you do. It is not stubbornness. That low energy you carry through the day, that foggy feeling, that sluggishness that never fully goes away. None of that is random. Your body is sending you a message. And most people are just not reading it correctly. So let me ask you something honestly. Have you ever wondered why two people can drink the same lemon water every single morning, eat the same way, live relatively similar lives, and yet one of them transforms and the other sees absolutely nothing? No change. No progress. Same body, same struggle week after week. What is the difference? That is exactly what we are going to talk about today. My name is Dr. Hana Sato. I have been practicing medicine for over 2 decades, and a significant part of my clinical work has focused on liver health, hormonal balance, and metabolic disorders. I have worked with thousands of patients, men and women, who came to me frustrated, confused, and honestly defeated. They were doing what they thought was right. They were drinking their lemon water. They were watching what they ate. And still the fat would not move. What I found consistently was not that they were doing nothing. It was that they were doing things slightly wrong. The wrong combination. The wrong timing. The wrong ingredients. And those small errors were canceling out every effort they were making. I am not here to sell you something. I am here to give you the same kind of clarity I give my patients when they sit across from me in my office. Because once you understand what your liver actually needs, and how to support it with what you drink, everything starts to make more sense. So here is what we are doing today. I am going to walk you through 5 specific lemon water drinks, ranked from number 5 to number 1, from effective, all the way up to the most powerful fat-burning drink I know of, backed by real science. I will give you the exact recipe for each one, the right time to drink it, what it actually does inside your body, and the small mistakes that can completely cancel your results. Let us start. Drink number 5, the nighttime fat storage blocker. Here is something most people never think about. While you sleep, your body is still working. Your hormones are shifting, your blood sugar is moving, and your liver is processing everything that happened during the day. But here is the problem. If your blood sugar becomes unstable at night, and for most people it does, your body does not rest. It panics. When blood sugar drops in the middle of the night, your body reads that as a threat. It releases cortisol, that is your primary stress hormone, to bring blood sugar back up. Now cortisol is not a bad thing in the right amounts at the right time. But when it spikes at night, it does something very specific and very unhelpful. It tells your body to hold on to fat, specifically belly fat. Because belly fat, from an evolutionary standpoint, is your emergency fuel supply. Cortisol at night basically sends a signal saying, do not let go of this. We might need it. Have you ever gone to bed at a normal hour, slept for 7 or 8 hours, and still woken up exhausted? That is often cortisol disruption happening while you sleep. And over weeks and months, that cycle makes fat loss almost impossible, no matter what you eat during the day. This is where drink number 5 comes in. It is simple. Warm water, the juice of half a lemon, and a 1/4 teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon. You can add a very small amount of raw honey if you need a touch of sweetness, but keep it minimal. Now, here is something important I want you to remember. When I say Ceylon cinnamon, I am being specific on purpose. Most of the cinnamon sold in stores, the kind in the little red and yellow tins, is actually cassia cinnamon. It contains a compound called coumarin, which in regular amounts is fine. But over time and in larger quantities, it can place stress on your liver. Your liver is already doing heavy lifting. You do not want to add to that burden. Ceylon cinnamon, sometimes labeled as true cinnamon, does not carry that same risk. It is gentler, and it is the variety that research has shown to meaningfully improve insulin sensitivity and reduce the blood sugar crashes that trigger nighttime cortisol spikes. Drink this 30 minutes before you go to bed. Not an hour before. Not right before you close your eyes. 30 minutes gives the compounds enough time to enter your bloodstream and begin stabilizing blood sugar before it has a chance to crash. One small habit. Done consistently. It can change the quality of your sleep and the behavior of your fat cells overnight, quite literally. Drink number 4. The liver fat destroyer. I want to say something clearly because this is one of the most important things I teach. Your liver is not just a filter. It is the gatekeeper for your metabolism. Every decision your body makes about whether to burn fat or store fat runs through your liver first. When your liver is healthy, it processes hormones efficiently, clears toxins, regulates blood sugar, and signals the body to use stored fat for energy. When your liver is overloaded, which happens far more commonly than most people realize, those processes slow down. Your metabolism slows. Your body starts storing more than it burns. And no amount of dieting or exercise fully compensates for a liver that is struggling to do its job. Here is something that surprises most of my patients. The bacteria living in your gut have a direct line of communication to your liver. There is a pathway between your gut and your liver, and the balance of bacteria in your gut, what scientists call your microbiome, directly influences how much fat your liver stores or releases. When unhealthy bacteria dominate, they produce compounds that get carried straight to the liver and promote fat accumulation, specifically around the liver itself and in the belly. It is a hidden mechanism that most people have never heard of. Drink number 4 addresses this directly. It is lemon water with raw apple cider vinegar. And I want to emphasize the word raw because it matters. Raw apple cider vinegar, particularly the kind that contains what is called the mother, that cloudy, stringy substance you can see floating in the bottle, contains beneficial bacteria and enzymes that support a healthier gut environment. When combined with lemon juice, which adds its own detoxifying properties, the result is a drink that has been shown in multiple studies to reduce liver fat, improve the balance of gut bacteria, and lower fasting blood sugar. The recipe is straightforward. 1 tablespoon of raw apple cider vinegar with the mother, the juice of half a lemon, and 8 to 12 ounces of water. Room temperature or slightly warm is better than cold. Drink it on an empty stomach in the morning before anything else. One caution: apple cider vinegar is acidic, and if you drink it and then immediately brush your teeth, you are brushing that acid directly into your enamel. Wait at least 30 minutes after drinking this before you brush. It is a small thing, but your dentist will thank you. In my clinical experience, this is one of the most underrated habits I have ever recommended. Patients who commit to it for just a few weeks consistently report better digestion, less bloating, and in many cases, measurable reduction in abdominal fat. It sounds too simple for how powerful it actually is. Drink number 3, the Appetite Control Activator. Let me describe something you have probably felt before. You have eaten. You know logically that you have eaten enough. But 20 minutes later, you are hungry again. Or you are standing in front of the refrigerator not because you are truly hungry, but because something is pulling you there. That is not a willpower failure. That is a hormonal issue. There is a hormone in your body called GLP-1, glucagon-like peptide 1. You may have heard it mentioned in relation to some of the newer weight loss medications that have become popular in recent years. What those medications do is mimic GLP-1. But here is what most people do not know. You can naturally stimulate your body's own GLP-1 production with the right food choices. And when your GLP-1 is working properly, hunger becomes manageable in a way that feels almost effortless. Drink number 3 does exactly this. And the key ingredient is chia seeds. When chia seeds are soaked in liquid, they absorb water and form a thick gel. You may have seen this if you have ever made chia pudding. That gel is rich in soluble fiber, and when it moves through your digestive system, it slows the absorption of sugar into the bloodstream, keeps you feeling full for longer, and actively stimulates the release of GLP-1. Your body's own natural fullness signal gets turned up. Studies on this are clear. Consistent chia seed consumption has been associated with meaningful reduction in abdominal fat and significant improvements in blood sugar regulation. Not because chia seeds contain some magic compound, but because they change how your body processes food. They slow everything down in a way that makes your metabolism work smarter. The recipe is simple. Juice of half a lemon, 8 ounces of water, 1 tablespoon of chia seeds. Stir it and let it sit for 10 minutes before you drink it. That resting time allows the gel to begin forming. Drink it 15 to 20 minutes before your largest meal of the day. Imagine sitting down to eat and feeling satisfied sooner than usual, without forcing yourself. That is what this drink, done consistently, can start to feel like. Drink number 2, the Fat-Burning Switch Activator. Here is a concept I want you to understand because it will change how you think about fat loss permanently. Your body contains 2 kinds of fat tissue. White fat, which is what most people think of when they think about fat, is essentially storage tissue. It sits under the skin, around the organs, and its job is simply to hold energy in reserve. Brown fat is different. Brown fat is metabolically active. It burns calories to generate heat. It is essentially fat that burns fat. Babies are born with a lot of brown fat, which is why they handle cold so much better than you might expect for their size. As we age, our ratio of brown to white fat tends to decrease. But here is the key. Research has shown that brown fat activity can be stimulated. And when brown fat wakes up, your resting metabolism increases. You burn more calories doing the same things: walking, sitting, even sleeping. Drink number 2 targets this mechanism. It is lemon water with cayenne pepper and fresh ginger. Cayenne pepper contains a compound called capsaicin. This is the same compound that makes spicy food feel hot, and it works by activating heat receptors in your body, the same receptors that brown fat uses. Capsaicin has been shown in research to increase what is called thermogenesis, your body's heat production, and to shift white fat cells toward behaving more like brown fat cells. Ginger amplifies this effect. It is a natural anti-inflammatory that also boosts circulation and digestive efficiency, and together with capsaicin, the combination produces a measurable increase in metabolic activity. The recipe is the juice of half a lemon, a cup of warm water, a small pinch of cayenne pepper, and I do mean small if you are not accustomed to spice, and either half a teaspoon of freshly grated ginger or a quarter teaspoon of ground ginger. Drink it in the morning. I will be honest with you. This one has a bite to it. The first few times it will feel intense. But if you stay consistent, most people adapt within a week or two, and the results, improved energy, reduced fat around the midsection, better circulation, are genuinely worth pushing through the adjustment. Would you handle a little spice if it meant your body was burning more calories all day long, even at rest? For most of my patients, the answer becomes yes very quickly. Drink number 1. The Maximum Fat Burning Multiplier. Everything I have shared so far is valuable, but this last one stands apart, not because I am trying to create drama, but because the science behind it is genuinely exceptional. There is a compound found in green tea called EDC epigallocatechin gallate. It is one of the most studied compounds in nutrition science, and the research on it consistently shows something remarkable. EGCG does not just support fat loss. It specifically increases fat oxidation, the process by which your body breaks down stored fat and converts it into energy. Studies have shown that people who consume EGCG before physical activity burn up to 35% more fat from that same activity compared to people who do not. Let me say that again because it deserves to land fully. The same workout, the same effort, the same duration, up to 35% more fat burned, simply because of what was consumed beforehand. Beyond that, EGCG is one of the very few compounds that has shown visible reduction in liver fat in imaging studies. Not just metabolic markers on a blood test, but actual reduction in fat measured inside the liver on a scan. That is significant. Now, green tea contains EGCG, but matcha is a different category. Matcha is made from whole green tea leaves ground into powder. When you drink matcha, you are consuming the entire leaf, not just the water the leaves were steeped in. That means you are getting 10 to 15 times more EGCG per serving than you would from a cup of regular brewed green tea. The difference is not minor. It is substantial. Drink number 1 is lemon water with matcha powder. Juice of half a lemon, 8 ounces of water slightly warm, not boiling because boiling water can degrade the EGCG, and 1 teaspoon of high-quality matcha powder. Whisk it well until fully dissolved. No added sugar. Drink it either 30 minutes before a workout, or mid-morning if you are not exercising that day. This is the drink I would tell you to start with if you could only choose one. It supports liver health, actively increases fat burning, improves insulin sensitivity, and contains a modest amount of caffeine that gives mental clarity without the spike and crash of coffee. It is the most complete fat-related health drink I know of. If this is the kind of information that is useful to you, please subscribe so you do not miss what comes next. I cover topics like this regularly: liver health, hormone balance, metabolic function, because these are the things that make the most practical difference in how people feel and look every single day. And if you find yourself not wanting to subscribe, I am genuinely curious what is holding you back. Drop it in the comments. I read them. Now here is something I need to say because it would be irresponsible not to. You can drink all 5 of these drinks, every single one of them, and still see 0 results. Not because the drinks do not work. They do. But because there is a layer beneath all of this, the how, that most people completely overlook. The timing errors. The ingredient mistakes. The things people add to these drinks that quietly undermine everything. I have seen patients do everything right on the surface and then make one small error repeatedly that canceled all their progress. And the frustrating part is they had no idea. The single most common reason lemon water does not work is not the lemon. It is everything around the lemon. That is why I put together a dedicated video walking through the biggest lemon water mistakes people make. The ones that can actually slow your metabolism and place extra stress on your liver, rather than helping it. If you are serious about using what you learned today, you cannot afford to skip that piece. Click the video on your screen right now and I will walk you through it step by step. I want to close with something I say to almost every patient I see for the first time. Your body is not broken. It is not working against you. It is responding intelligently to the signals it receives every single day. What you drink, when you drink it, how consistent you are. All of it sends a signal. And when the signals are right, the body responds. You do not need extreme measures. You do not need to suffer through something unsustainable. You need accurate information and the consistency to act on it. Small changes, done correctly and done daily, create results that accumulate faster than most people expect. So the real question is, which one of these 5 drinks are you starting with today?